Now what you want to do is you want to get that magazine template. So you'll want to go to module 13 and go into the project itself. And then in the project, you want to download the magazine templates. Now this is you just click on it to download it, okay? It's a PSD file and it should download to your computer. If you are working on a Chromebook, it's going to download to your Google Drive. So you're going to need to open it from your Google Drive. Mine downloaded to my downloads, so it's right there. Once you have it downloaded, go ahead and open it in Photopea. So if you're on a Chromebook, you'll open it from your Google Drive through Photopea. It's a large file, okay? This is a big file. It has all of the magazine covers on it. So what I would recommend is that you kind of take a look at all of these different covers and you decide maybe what you want. And you can then drag in just that layer. But if you're not sure and you want to experiment with all of the different magazine options, then what you're going to want to do is drag in the entire layer group from the magazine template PSD file and drag the whole layer group into your pop art self-portrait that you've got working on. So I've got two tabs open here in Photopea. Here is the tab that I've been working on, and here is the file I just opened, okay? Now, the only reason why I'm saying you may want to just drag in one layer is I don't know the power of each of your computers and how much power or memory they have to run both of these files at the same time, okay? So let's just, for the sake of saying everybody is able to do this, let's grab the entire layer group. So I'm going to take the whole layer group and I'm just going to click and drag over to the tab of my pop art portrait. And when I see that it's highlighted in blue, I'm going to release. And I'm going to go over to that. The entire layer group came over here into my folder or into my file for my pop art self-portrait. So there's the whole layer group. It's right there. If I knew already which one I wanted to take over, say I wanted to only bring over this Wired magazine, I could just grab that layer and bring that over on its own until I see it highlight with blue, You can simply just click it and drag it over when you have two tabs open. Once you have it there, then you can, you've got two things. Inside the magazine covers layer group, there is this headline and date file. That is the little bit of text that I put on there. From there, you're going to want to double click on it and change it to whatever you want it to be. It's your own headline, your own tag for your magazine cover. What does your magazine cover say? It doesn't say Virtual Studio 903. It should say something about you. Destined for Destiny, right? Look out for Laisha. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Laura Lee time. Whatever you want your cover to say, you make the headline. In fact, you don't even need to keep the date where it is. If you wanted to move the date up under here or something, you could do that. This is just a template for you to play with, okay? So I'm just going to turn that off for a second. But I will say, the text is important. It's not an afterthought. I don't want it to be an afterthought. I want you to really pay attention to how, what you're actually going to say on there and the position of it, the font. Choose a different font. Mine, if I went with Wired, this font would make sense for Wired. It's nice and clean, but you might want to choose a different font for your headline. So that's up to you to format. These are all the other templates that you have, and once you have them, then you can select whatever one you want, okay? What I'm going to show you and actually I added more. So you've got Game Informer, you've got a couple of different versions of Game Informer. Somebody asked for a golf magazine, so that's the golf magazine. There's Nobleman, lots of different things in here. Vanity Fair, okay? So let's just say I'm going to, and there's PC Gamer too. I'm going to choose this Entertainment Weekly. And I think I want the white version of it, okay? And if you just turn it on It's just on. What I want you to do is I want you to incorporate it. And for many of you, it's going to cover too much of your face. You don't want the magazine to cover too much of your face. So what I'd like to see is that you weave or layer in your images with the magazine cover. And that's the next step. So in order to do that, I'm going to close this. You need to decide if you're going to go top left or top right. If I want the top left or top right to be on top of the magazine template. In this case, I want the top left to be on top of the magazine template because I don't want to cover up the weekly and Entertainment Weekly. Okay, so it might vary depending on which magazine template you're going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of my top left. I'm just going to drag down the whole layer group and make a new layer group of it. Now I have a top left copy. And in that top left copy, I'm going to take the entire contents of the top left copy and I'm going to merge them down. I can right click and say merge layers. There's also a keyboard shortcut that's Command or Control E and it will merge all the layers. So now I have a flat single layer copy of my top left. Okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because what I want to do is take me off of there, off the background, and put me in front of my magazine title. So I can't just go like this and put it above the magazine layers. Let's see. It doesn't really work to just put it above the magazine layers because the background and everything is included. So what I need to do is only take the portion of me. So I'm going to use the quick selection tool, and the quick selection tool will work actually really well for this one because there's a pretty good contrast between the foreground and the background. So I'm on this picture. I'm going to just use the quick selection tool and I'm going to select me. And I got to get this part over here too. And when I have all of that selected, let me zoom in a little bit. Really doesn't like me doing this. When I have all of me selected, you can see the selection up here clearly. I'm going to jump just that to a new layer, and what that's going to do is it's going to separate it from the background. Command J to jump it to a layer, and look at my layer group over here. You can see that I have now the copy of me without the background. And now I just need to stick that up above my magazine template in terms of my layers. It's going to be, let me just do this. Okay, so I just basically put the part of me that's me without the background above the magazine template. And now it's layered, it's incorporated in nicely. Okay, so the final touch will be to turn back on that headline and decide what you want it to say. So I'm gonna say something like, this is what my college friends say when they're making fun of me when I'm talking too much. It's lowering time. And it's December 2020, but maybe I want to take that December 2020 and I want to put it somewhere else. So I'm actually gonna format this a little bit differently, and I'll just put another piece of text somewhere up here. Let's see, May or December 2020, and maybe I'll put it like that. I don't know. It depends on what your magazine title is, what your headline is. And remember, don't forget, you can, choose different fonts. It doesn't have to be just what that is. You want to think about the font selection for that, so it really sets up nicely. Don't let it be an afterthought.